Hi, Daniel. This is Steve Wozniak, and I certainly want to say hi to Vinay and Anelya, too. I hope I pronounced them close to right. Um, Entrepreneurship, starting these startups and all that, is one of the most important things in the world in my mind. Not just because I've gone through it, but so many business schools and whatever teach you that that's like kind of like creating new forms of wealth when you come up with new projects and new things that didn't exist before. And it's really the heart of economies and growing economies, right down to the nation level. But to me, you're getting out there, you're trying something, you're so passionate, you'll work 20 hours a day sometimes, and so much hard work and trying to overcome problem after problem. But it's when you look back, it's the most fun memories of your life, the most fun time. Nobody should miss out on that. A startup, to me, I've always thought, looking back a little bit Apple, you're small, very small. Maybe you're one person, two people, or three people, but you need some elements. You need a good business foundation, somebody who's going to watch over the numbers and make sure you're moving in a direction that will keep you alive, that will make money eventually. Especially, maybe that's the person, CEO or something, but, the business side that will raise the money and things like that by convincing others you got good ideas. But you also need strong engineering. You're going to build things, something, and to have weak engineering, boy, you can lose a lot, because good engineers, good programmers, even just think and have another idea and another idea. They've been used to solving problems their whole life and coming up with solutions. And get something done too. That's the engineering, and that's very important that it be top notch, because excellence is what really makes it these days. And you need marketing understanding, somebody who knows who you are, how to present yourselves to the world, what your product should mean to other people, and how much what you're working on is worth. Is it good and solves the problem, but it's really not worth much because there's a lot of alternatives? You need somebody who thinks about a lot of these things and looks at the market and sees what's already out there or what the alternatives are they close, and what they cost, and so how much things are valued. You need business, marketing, and engineering to have a successful startup, and luck helps. Luck can make you go south even when you're doing everything great, and can make you go north when you're just luck comes along at the right time. Look at Apple. I was going to build that computer. That was all the revenues of Apple for the first 10 years. I was going to build that computer that year in my life for other reasons, that I just wanted it. But it turned out that computer was worth so much in the year that I was finally able to do it. So luck helps. I hope that your co-founders, are the right ones. That you get along, you have similar personalities, you like to do the same things in your spare time, and that you agree on strategies for your company and achieving its success. And not a lot of fighting, not a lot of conflict, and I hope that you're all very competent. A book that I like to recommend to startups and entrepreneurs is a new one coming out from Uri Levine, one of the key people behind Waze. And the book may not quite be out yet, but it's called Fall in Love with the Problem. Fall in Love with the Problem. And the problem just has to take over your entire heart and being, and trying to find solutions. But it's also similar to seeing the problem from the perspective of users, of customers, who's going to use your product, and not just from the perspective of a maker. I can make something that works. So, really know what's good and what's bad as you're working it through. But Fall in Love with the Problem goes through a lot of steps and the things that you'll be challenged with and have to modify and step back and rethink, and even, changing personnel. So read that book when you can. Of course, startups are indeed risky. You don't hit a home run without taking a risk, sort of. I mean, that's the payoff. The riskier they are, the bigger they might hit if they win. And there's no guarantee you should start out. There's no guarantee that you're going to be successful, but you should start out, especially raising money, with a good story. And the story can be made up, but it has to be like a story that everybody relates to in their real life, that doesn't have to be the one you're maybe it's just a subset of what your program or your app or whatever is going to solve, but somebody has to relate to what's something bothersome in my life that's going to get fixed. Tell a good story, tell it quick, That should be the start of your presentation, and you should sound confident. Whoever's making your presentations, probably yourself, Daniel, you should sound very confident, because especially investors, you get to a point you need money. And investors will judge right away based on the story or based on you yourself, the person making the presentation. So don't drag it out through a whole bunch of, boring stuff around the bend. Anyway, expect that in your startup, you're going to continually modify your products as you learn the market needs, what people like, what they don't, how they're using it, what works, what doesn't. You're going to keep adjusting what's called the product market fit. And that's the key element, the product market fit, to any success story there is. Now, my advice, everyone says you should start with good values. You're doing good for the world for reasons you believe in good, and you're going to have a good culture in the company. But I say you should know who you are, who you really are. What are your values? What are your good, what are the things you're doing that's good? And what I say is, don't sell out and don't weaken those values with your success. Whether it's money success or product success, market success, don't weaken it. Keep true to who you are. Even if you start a new product, who you are is the best thing in life. Anyway, whatever happens, your story itself is going to be a very important one to inspire other entrepreneurs. And, I'd love to hear your story when you're well into it. You're making products and selling them and all that. I'd love to hear the whole story from your perspective. Heck, those are books worth buying, but you can't hit that home run, as I said, without taking risks. And think about what it means to think different, and that's how you change the world. Bye from Woz.